All right, we welcome you into the Hometown Sports Huddle here on WDBJ 7+. My name is Dave Walls. Thanks again for joining us on the other side and the other side of the box over. Which way? This way? I always point in the wrong direction. It's Mitch Carr.
Yeah, you're over there, and I'm over here.
Actually, you're slightly to my right side. It's almost in reverse. I always mix that up. Fantastic weekend for a sports fan, both locally and on the national stage. We'll talk about the local stuff here in just a minute, Mitch. But first, I wanted to dig into some of the headlines that we had over the weekend. First of all, UVA women's basketball, man, what a run they had through March Madness. They do fall to TCU 79-69, but this one was really close all the way through. Who's actually led this one by 1 at the half. Then it's kind of a disastrous third quarter where TCU kind of wakes up out of the locker room and really puts this thing away. But it never really, I mean, the Who's fought to the end. I mean, a 10-point deficit. They were still fighting in the fourth quarter when a lot of teams, I think, would have given up. But, I mean, what kind of impact?
You can't view this season as anything other than a success.
Yeah.
They made the play-in game, which some people will give some side eye, and they'll say, the play-in game. But you know what? When you win 2 games, guess what? That's a real NCAA tournament experience.
It really is.
So they won 2 games, and they made it. They made history. They were the first play-in team to make it to the Sweet 16. We saw one of those on the men's side this year. Now we just got to get UVA to do what VCU did and become the first play-in to Final Four team.
I mean, but an amazing run nevertheless. I mean, how do you chalk up the impact that this team has had?
I got to say, I mean, for Coach Mox, this is just going to help the recruiting, wouldn't you think? Hey, if I can do this and we can go from the edges of competition to actually making a dent in this thing and make history, then that's going to bring more people into Charlottesville. And for all the people that love Blacksburg, and we love Blacksburg too, once you step on that Charlottesville campus or once you step on the Blacksburg campus, but she's going to get people to show up for recruiting visits. And that is going to change some minds, I think, about what UVA basketball is and in the future could be. The only question is, a coach has success like this, gets the buy-in from her players. This happens on the men's side all the time. Are they going to be able to keep her around?
Yeah, I agree. This is a team, let's be honest, coming out of the conference tournament, we were not talking about UVA women. I mean, the fact that they made the first 4 was, oh, wait a minute, they got a spot. They had a decent year, but felt like every time they had a little chance to build some momentum, they let opportunities slip away. So for us to still be talking about them this late in the season, I think is a tremendous accomplishment. All right, let's move on to other March Madness because, I mean, my gosh, I was busy with NASCAR, which we'll talk about in a minute, but March Madness yesterday and this whole weekend, I mean, my gosh, where do we start? UConn and Duke. The
reverse Christian Laettner, that's what I'm calling it.
Exactly what it is. And for you kids who don't know, go look up, just search Christian Laettner Duke. You will see the turnaround jumper that still broke Rick Pitino's heart all these years later. But my goodness, I mean, Duke was up double digits in that last period. I mean, what was it? Because again, I was kind of watching through.
I think they were up 19 at half. Maybe it was 15, but I remember
I had 19 in my head, but I won.
I remember looking at it and going, "Well, this is over."
Yeah.
And you know what? It sure as heck wasn't. Excuse me.
Oh, I should have muted you there. My fault.
That's okay. I'm back, and you know what? When they're pressing, right? That last possession, they're pressing. UConn is. And you're going, oh, this is Duke. Surely they have a plan.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, no. Whatever their plan was, they're not executing it. And I think it was Caden Boozer there in the middle, right? Or it wasn't Cam. It was Caden. It was the other twin, the one that's not going to be a top 3 pick. You see him, and you're like, oh, no, he's panicking. And then you think, okay, well, he'll be able to throw it over the top, and he doesn't. Those 2 UConn defenders go up like it's a volleyball spike. And you're going, oh, my gosh, suddenly it's a 2-point game and UConn has the ball. And when Caravan got it, I thought, oh, no. I was in the building in Houston in 2023. Caravan destroyed Miami.
Right.
And I think he was, a sophomore at the time. And you're just looking at that going, okay, that guy's pretty good. He sticks around for a couple more years. And now, he drilled the shot that kind of put them – it made it a 70-69 game so that it could eventually be a 72-70 game so that eventually the kid could hit the shot. But you see Caravan with the ball, and I'm going, oh, no, he's going to make a 3. And then he passes it, and I thought, well, Duke is safe.
Yeah.
That kid puts up a 38-footer, and it looked like it was from 10 feet. The form was amazing. It looked like he expected it to go in. That was incredible.
From the logo, that's the impressive part. I mean, my gosh, there's the ice in the veins. I mean, say all the cliches you want. So
I love seeing Shire's reaction too. It was like as soon as the ball turned over, he was like, "Well, we're screwed."
Right.
Oops, should I say that? My news director might not be happy. He said, well, we're in trouble.
Right.
And they were.
Right.
But, like Shire just knew it immediately. He knew it before the ball went in. It's incredible.
It was incredible. So we had one thrilling comeback, and then on the other side with Michigan over Tennessee, we had domination.
A 33-point blowout.
I mean, my goodness. And I think the most impressive, look, on my bracket, I had Duke and Michigan in the finals. Fortunately for me, I got Michigan winning it, and they looked every bit the national champion contender yesterday. I think as we go down the Yaxel Lendeborg. I said, if you have a guy named Yaxel dunking on you, pack it up and go home.
I want to say, I said the other day, he's got a very Belgian name. I stand by that it's a Belgian name,
right?
But apparently he's Puerto Rican.
You could tell me there's a country named Yaxel Lendeborg, and I would believe you. But give him some land. 27 points yesterday, 3 3-pointers, nearly had a triple-double, very high in rebounds and assists. Certainly not the only one on the team to do it, but I think about 12 minutes left to go. He breaks through on a full court, and he just 1-2 through the lane, one-handed dunk. At that point, pack it up, go home.
The combination of Landeborg and Adai Mara, I can't wait to see how Arizona's going to handle that. Because, now that Duke's been upset and Houston's gone home and Florida's gone home, Illinois was impressive, but beating Iowa, they should beat Iowa. Iowa. I almost said Nebraska.
Yeah.
But no, Nebraska finished their game with 4 men on the court, so that's a different story. I feel like the Final Four game between Michigan and Arizona is the national championship.
100% agree.
And you have to respect UConn and Illinois for getting here. But if somebody that isn't Michigan or Arizona wins the national championship, I will be shocked.
Yeah, that is the true upset, but I can't wait to see how that plays out. All right, real quick, before we get to our special guest, did want to talk about Sunday's race over at Martinsville Speedway. Chase Elliott, some late stage, I don't call it shenanigans, but certainly just a roll of the dice.
Strategery.
Strategery, yeah. Somebody out there,
as Will Ferrell, as George W. Bush would say.
I was going to say somebody out there is going to get that, but Denny Hamlin dominates most of this race, 292 of the 400 laps. But it's really a short pit, meaning they pit just a little bit earlier to give themselves an advantage over everybody else, and it throws some of the other teams off. They're out there now with fresher tires, and they have clean air, and they're able just to pull ahead and then use some lap traffic between him and Hamlin to really to hold on to that lead. That was an impressive win for a team that needed one. Hendrick is always successful, but they hadn't gotten a trip to victory lane yet this year, and this really got them back on track.
Dave, I want to know, what do you think is more frustrating? Because you've been at some tracks, and so have I, but what do you think is more frustrating? Being stuck in second place if you're Denny Hamlin at a a half-mile track,
right,
like Martinsville, or being stuck in second place when you are at a super speedway, you're at Talladega? One of them, you're running the throttle wide open, you're going 200 miles an hour. The other one, you got to bring it down to 50 miles an hour to make a turn.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can never catch up to somebody because you have to constantly slow down to hit the corners. So what do you think is more frustrating?
I think for me, it's got to, they're both frustrating scenarios. For me, I think it's got to be Martinsville, because even if you're in second place, you either have to do one of two things. You have to fight your way through lap traffic and your competitors, or like Denny Hamlin did to Chase Elliott years ago in Martinsville, you're just going to have to wreck him into turn 3 and then come around the pen. They still show clips of Chase getting out of the car and pointing the finger at him and all that. You're going to have to do one of two things, and you're either going to lose for it or you're not going to look very good. And in the case of Denny, when he did the Chase years ago, he still didn't win the race. So
was it Martinsville or Bristol where somebody wrecked Joey Logano years before that? Do you remember this? Logano had an issue.
That was at Martinsville.
That was at Martinsville
because,
too.
He had wrecked Matt Kenseth at Kansas earlier in the
season.
season.
That's what it was.
And then
that's what it was.
And
Kenseth got his revenge.
I'm on the roof shooting that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can just see it. Kenseth doesn't even have the hood on his car anymore. And you just see it, and you hear the spotter goes, maybe he's clear. Boom, no, he's not clear. He just T-bones him into turn 1. And the crowd loved it.
The crowd loved it. That's what I remember the most.
Yeah.
The crowd was like, thank goodness. And I just remember thinking, does Joey Logano have that much hate out there? And maybe at that time he did.
At that time he did. Nowadays, I don't know. There's still some Logano haters out there. Denny certainly still has some haters, because even though he was given to chase his flowers yesterday, boy, the crowd was letting him have it. Just I don't think not all sins are that easily forgiven. But for Logano, his 14th straight top 10 finish at Martinsville Speedway. That's the longest active streak at any track like that.
That's right. He was third, right?
He was third, and he needed it because he was 33rd in Darlington a week ago. So kind of at the he was kind of on that bubble, in order to make it to the chase.
I just want to say I prefer a NASCAR race where somebody makes a strategic call, finishes out in front, to one of these wreck fests at the end where they're going to have overtime after overtime after overtime. This was like, hey, this is what racing used to be. We didn't have overtime. It was just sort of whoever's car was the best that day, and they avoided the wrecks.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, Mary Slicener, the Washington and Lee basketball standout who rewrote the record book at Division III, had a sit-down interview with her recently. Great one-on-one. You'll hear it next when we come back on the Hometown Sports Huddle. Stay right there. Welcome back to the Hometown Sports Huddle. I'm Dave Walls, joined now by Mary Slicener from Washington and Lee. You've heard me say her name quite a bit over this past basketball season. General standout who basically rewrote the record book in a lot of categories, both at WNL and in Division III. Mary, first of all, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a long and very successful year for your team so far. This year, undefeated regular season. When did you know that this season was going to be that kind of special? Because, I mean, you guys have been on top of the ODAC for a while, but certainly, to have that kind of success, undefeated conference champions, go into the tournament undefeated. I mean, that's an area that very few teams ever really get to.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. If I could do one thing for the rest of my life and have joy in it, it would be talk about my team in this year. But it was great. I think when I found out we were going to be special is when we were pretty successful in our Florida tournament and went home for the holidays 10-0. And I think everybody sort of realized with a mindset that we didn't want to let that momentum stop. And so ever since we got back from Christmas, we just were gunning it at every team. We didn't want to shy away. We didn't want to underestimate teams. But more so, we flipped the switch and flipped our mindset to show up to every gym and show up to every team, no different than the one prior, and just take it to them as hard as we can. And we don't want to win by 10, 15. We want to win by 30 or 40.
And you were doing that for quite a bit of the season, winning by those large margins. I know the season didn't end maybe the way you would want it to, but I think the thing that was so notable was even in that last game, you were getting doubled and tripled almost the entire game, and yet you still put up, 29 points and 27 rebounds. I mean, I don't know that there was a team really all year long who contained you. I mean, if that's the best way to put it. Can you talk about just, going out and competing every night, not just, wanting to play your best, but knowing you're going to get at least a double team from every team that you face this year?
Yeah, I mean, all the credit to Denison, and congrats to them because they just won the national championship game. But I think the last time I haven't been doubled is when I was middle of the freshman year. It was always fun, and I definitely took it for granted when I came in as a freshman. Absolutely no one knew who I was, so those first few games were the first times and last times that I was just getting single teamed. But I'm pretty used to it at this point. Teams have started to pull in a third, but all the credit to our shooters because that just means that they're open around the arc. And if I can do just a little bit of a good job passing the ball to them, I know that they're going to finish, and then we can send some rebounders in. But I think that is one of the strengths of our team. Not just me, we have some great 4s and 5s. Sarah Zimmerman, Caroline Shimp, Riley Bryant really stepped it up this year, and Kate Kennedy, a new freshman 5. But it's just been a blast playing with them in the post and then finding success in our guards and having them knock down shots when we really need it. I mean, I think about Elka Preckle and Sam Collins and Quinn McGinnis, who had some of the best three-point percentages ever this year. It was seriously a blast, and we're a threat on the offensive side from all positions, so couldn't be prouder of everybody.
On the screen right now, we have a lot of your stats, which I'm sure you in a way, you kind of get tired of hearing about. But I mean, from, the outside perspective, I mean, we start reading down these, multiple time ODAC player of the year, Justin's Trophy finalist, the all-time leading scorer in the ODAC. And the thing I love about you, Mary, is that the fact that, every time I've ever interviewed you or talked to your coaches or anything like that, the focus is always on your teammates because you need that strong nucleus around you in order, to, in a way, kind of take the attention off you a little bit. They have to respect your teammates because it's not just you, like you said, you've got an incredibly talented team around you. And, tell me what it's been like playing with this set of girls because, sometimes on a team where you have a player who gets as much attention, and deservedly so, like you do, sometimes the other players, the chemistry isn't there because maybe there's a little jealousy or maybe they want the ball a little bit more. But everyone that I've ever talked to at Washington Lee, you guys really seem to be, like this the whole season long. Do you agree to that?
I 100% agree. I think that is by far our biggest strength as a team. We are one big family, and they're the reason I show up every day. This past weekend, I got the opportunity to go play in the All-Star game, and everyone I had met there had transferred in some form or another, and they were shocked to hear that I had been at the same school for the past 4 years. And I think that's a testament to how great of a school WNL is, but also how great of a team it is. It would have been so hard to go to a different school, D2, D3, or D1, and find the same amount of success I've found here because me and the 7 other freshmen have been playing together, or the 6 other seniors have been playing together since we were freshmen. And I think that is where we found the most success. I mean, Quinn McGinnis and I feel like we can read each other's minds by now on the court because she knows exactly what I want to do with the ball and what my strengths are. And I know where I can find her and the type of passes she's going to send in. And I think that goes without saying with everybody else too. So I feel very lucky that I've been able to be here for 4 years. And I know that we've had some coaching transitions, both head and assistant coach, and I'm very grateful to every single coach who stepped into our program. But seriously, if anything has been the most consistent, it's probably the love that this program has for one another, and it hasn't changed my 4 years. If anything, it's changed for the better. And, this year we had our team motto, Mudita, which is finding vicarious joy in the success of others. So it doesn't matter what type of play you are. You could be a role player, the glue guy, anything, starter, second string. Like, you are feeling everybody else's success the same amount as if it were yours. So I think, and it's hard to describe and put into words. I hope I'm doing a good job, but the best you can do is just try to feel it as much as you can because I just feel lucky that I've got to feel it for the past 4 years.
I want to talk more about you in a minute, but you brought up, the coaching changes with Coach Kemp coming in at WNL. And it really seems like she had a way of communicating with everybody on the team that she was able to connect with them and get the best out of players. what was it like playing under her, and how do you feel like she helped you all get to that next level?
Totally. I thought me and the rest of the senior class were in a unique position where we've got half of our career with one coach and with another. And obviously, after sophomore year, we had just gone to the Elite Eight. Very successful year. At the time, it was the best in program history. And so to have a coaching change after that was definitely an interesting experience. But Coach Kemp came in with so much heart to the program before even stepping foot onto the home court. And you can't really ask for anything better than that. She saw the best in everybody and wanted to see the best in them every single game and practice and bus ride and team dinner. She just really wanted us to show up as the best versions of ourselves. And I think that's been the cool part for me is that junior and senior year, I've tried my best to step up as a leader, and she's giving me that outlet to do so. And so even if I maybe don't agree with the defensive or offensive suggestions she's making, she wants to hear it from me, and she wants to hear it from everybody else, even the freshmen and the sophomores. And so if I will find if I can walk away and have done a little bit of setting an example to the freshmen and incoming people that, it's okay to speak up, she's the one that's given me that platform to do so. And so ever since then, I couldn't be prouder of her and Coach Brittany Stowovi, our new assistant coach, for just leading the program to being 31-1 in the Elite Eight, and Coach Kim's second year, Coach Britt's first year. So, I mean, all the credit to them. We wouldn't be here without them.
We're talking with Mary Slicer from Washington and Lee, who had a undefeated regular season, undefeated ODAC tournament champs, made it to the Elite Eight this year. Just one or two more questions for you. I'd love to know a little bit more about you, as specifically, you don't just show up to a college at any level and be the level of the player you are without having been a pretty fierce competitor at the high school level, at the early. Where did that passion for basketball come from, and what was it like, kind of developing? When did you see yourself becoming this collegiate powerhouse that you were for 4 years?
Well, I started playing basketball when I was 6 years old in my church league, and my dad was the coach, and I was there with my preschool best friends. And I mean, those were some of my prime glory days, but I don't remember much other than that. I think we practiced once a week on Saturdays and then played on Sundays. So it was a pretty funny upbringing, but I didn't take it too seriously until about after my junior year of high school. I never really played AAU until after my junior year season. I joined Christy Brooks' One Dream, and that was an experience. Christy Brooks, she is everything and that I could have asked for in a coach. She was the one that first really told me that, I could play in college and that it was possible for me. And so I played there. My dad actually sent me a picture when my season ended, and it was a picture of me at my one AAU game in Kentucky at the Run for Roses tournament. And I'm taking the tip, and at the coaches' chairs, there's not a single coach there except for Christine Clancy, and you can see the little Generals logo on the back of her shirt. And I hadn't seen that picture before, so that was pretty unique. But after that, I reached out to her. She said, "We'd love to have you for a visit." I still wasn't making that much of an impact. Senior year, me and then my senior friend Maddie Shannon were just sort of doing our best on the court, but we didn't really win conferences or anything like that until I got here freshman year. When I committed, we started playing pickup, and that's when, during pickup, I wasn't very fundamental, but the seniors were just like, "You're an athlete and you can make it happen, so I believe in you." And I didn't really understand how much of an impact I was going to make, and I still don't even understand 4 years later how much I made an impact. But the first game when I was called a starter, that was when I was like, "Holy smokes, this is real."
So it started from playing pickup in your freshman year to now. I mean, that's an incredible development. How did you train those fundamentals? I know you said you had a little AAU background and stuff like that, but how did you train those fundamentals, in college, when again there's players who have probably been working at it, for a longer period of time? How did it develop so quickly for you?
I just watched and learned from the senior posts and junior posts. Catherine Vandiver actually went to my high school, and I played with her for a year in high school. And then she came on over here and played here. And I was like, well, why don't I try to do that? And so since then, she actually played the 5 and I played the 4 freshman year. But I was just doing my best to watch and learn. Aaron Hughes was our post coach. And I think what the best part is that, like, as much as I tried to become a post and learn those post moves, a lot of people were just in my ear telling me that I was such a unique player and to not lose any of that. I think I play in such an untraditional five type of way where no one told me that what I shouldn't be doing what I was doing. And I was trying my hardest to grab every board because my dad was like, control what you can control. If you can jump the highest and run the fastest, you should be getting the boards. And so I think I give all the credit to everybody around me, just continuing to empower me on the court and in practice to do the best I can. And I mean, fundamentally, rebounds aren't really something that you practice. It's just something you have to set out and do and get for yourself. So I'm proud of myself in that sense for showing up with as much tenacity as I could every day, but it's definitely paid off.
Yeah, I would say so. You got 1,992 rebounds. I mean, an incredible number for any player at any level. I guess one of the last questions I have for you, Mary, is, what is next for you? Because, I'm sure, there's people, and you're saying, oh, you could play a little bit, or maybe there's coaching, or, do you see yourself staying involved with the world of basketball?
I definitely will never, ever lose touch with the sport of basketball just because in any manner, it's given me the best things I've ever had in my life, like my teammates right now. And so I don't have a concrete answer for you. I think I would like one as much as you do, but I might go try to see if I can play for a team overseas, less so Europe, maybe looking at Australian teams. That would be awesome. In terms of coaching, I'm not nearly qualified enough. I mean, I don't know any of the plays, and I always forget them. And what for me is that I think coaches fall in love with the strategy of basketball, and what I just fell in love was just going out and playing my hardest for those around me every day. And so, if I can go and be a coach for a bunch of little kids as a volunteer and try to help them fall in love, the biggest thing I can tell them though is that the best thing anybody will ever get out of sports is a team and like a family to see and surround yourself with every day. But concrete answer, I won't ever fall out of touch with the sport. It's given me far too much that to ever just leave it from here. So
yeah. I agree. You've made a tremendous impact not only on Washington Lee and area sports, but the Division III as a whole. So your name is one that's going to reverberate for a long time. Mary Slicer, thank you so much. I know it's we've been kind of seeing each other games a little bit after game, but it's great to sit down and talk to you. Congratulations on an amazing career, and look forward to your next steps.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thanks so much. You too. We'll be right back on the Hometown Sports Huddle right after this. All right, welcome back to the Huddle. I'm Dave Walls. Thanks again to Mary Slicer, Washington Lee. Such a great conversation we had. There was more that we couldn't even air. Just had to compress it for time, but just tremendous talking about her career. We're running very behind. I did want to mention one other thing as we are wrapping up the Huddle tonight, and that is the return of minor league baseball this week. Yes, the Hill City Howlers, Salem Ridgeacs, two teams. You know the teams, you don't know their names, but the Hill City Howlers will be having their media day tomorrow in Lynchburg, and then also the Salem Ridgeacs. We're going to be holding a practice tomorrow night, a closed practice tomorrow, media events on Wednesday. Then their season kicks off in Salem on Thursday for opening night. We're going to be there for the practices. We're going to be there for opening night as well. The whole Channel 7 team is going to be there, so we hope you can come out to the ballpark. Weather looks to be pretty nice, more almost summer-like weather. It should be a lot of fun, but make sure you stay tuned to the Huddle and also to WDBJ7 for complete coverage of the start of the minor league baseball season. All right, that's going to do it again. Tomorrow night, I'll be on the Huddle, but I'll be at the ballpark. Mitch Carr will be back here in studio hosting that. Thanks again for watching. We hope you have a wonderful night, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.